Here at the Somerset Patriots, Steven Cusimano joined alongside Yankees legend Willie Randolph in the house. Willie, thanks so much for the time.
Good to be with you, Steven, always, man.
Well, especially tonight, we're paying tribute to the New York Black Yankees with a fresh look that they did not have back in the Negro Leagues. How special is this night for you?
It is special because not only do we get a chance to honor these great former players, but the fans get a chance to be educated on what the Negro Leagues is all about. You know, when you think about the Black Yankees, one of my biggest mentors was Elston Howard. Great Yankee catcher, we all miss him, but he was an excellent player who came through the Negro Leagues. A lot of people didn't know that until he got a chance to be the first African American in the American League. So to me, it's an honor to be able to don the uniform, be able to model it last year, where we modeled the first run of it, but just to be able to share this night, to hopefully see these kids inspired by the story and by the history, and then educate people on these really tremendous, great guys of the past.
How important is that for people that, even Major League Baseball now is recognizing the Negro Leagues in the history books? How important is it for the next generation of even up nowadays to recognize the importance of players through it?
Yeah, well, we're in a different era, a different time. Players, they can look on their social media and Google things, but I think it's important to always know your history. I mean, if you're a real baseball nut like most people are, today's player is outstanding. My era of playing was outstanding also. But there was a group of people who weren't allowed to play the game because of discrimination. And to have them being honored now that they've changed the stats also, and now they're being honored. The great Josh Gibson, numbers are being put out there. You talk about locally, Larry Doby, Monty Irving. All these were great legendary Negro League players, and they live right in the metropolitan area. So for me, as a player, if you're a real player, you know what I mean by that? It's important to know history, and you should want to know it because, these kids have a great opportunity to make a lot of money and play a great game. But you need to know that there were people like Annie Messersmith and Catfish Hunter, even after, some of the Negro League players who paved the way. And so, you're blessed to have this opportunity to play this great game, but you still need to know how this came to be. I just think it's important to understand that. And I think most of the players do want to know about it, but when you bring it to their attention, and Major League Baseball do their part to really emphasize not just Jackie Robinson, but some of the other great players, like I said, like Josh Gibson, the great Buck O'Neil. I had that opportunity to meet some of the greatest living Negro League players when I was managing the Mets, where I met a guy named Double Duty Ratcliffe. Well, what a great name, Double Duty Ratcliffe. And he got that name because this guy would actually play a double header, maybe a triple header in one day. So that's why they called him Double Duty. But just to have these characters of the game, these great nicknames, is really, really cool.
And one of the cool things we're actually doing here in Somerset today is we're pairing every player in the starting lineup with a different Negro Leagues player, all the great nicknames. I feel like it's a cool thing that they used to do. Maybe they should still do it. But for you, just growing up, your upbringing, and going to games all the way back then and becoming one of the greatest black baseball players in Major League history, how special is it just to see the way things are, to where there is more recognition like this now?
Yeah, and the nicknames make it even cooler, You got guys like Cool Papa Bell, who some people say, folk legends said that he used to cut the light off in the room and be in the bed before the lights went out. That's impossible, but stuff like that. I mean, in my era, Mick the Quick Rivers, Mick the Quick, he could fast as lightning, could really run real fast. Catfish Hunter, the story behind him, growing up in rural America, fishing and hunting all the time. So I think it's great to have nicknames, to have names that when you say it, people go, that's Aaron Judge or that's Derek Jeter. Without even having the last name that's the guy or whatever, So I think it's just great going back to education, going back to the history of it, and just being able to have fun with the game where you can play these nicknames and the kids know exactly who you're talking about.
And on another note here, grooming the next generation of Yankees here, obviously a lot of them being educated tonight, but from a baseball standpoint, just getting to be around these guys. I know you were with a lot of them during spring training too. What do you remember about some of the guys that were up there in big league camp, whether it be a Spencer Jones or those various other guys that are here?
Yes, I saw Vargas here earlier. He was in spring for a while. Loved his talent. Spencer Jones, he just jumps off the charts at you. And very, very respectful, They know the game. You know, they remember how we had the interactions in spring training, and they don't, forget that. So I love watching them. I don't get down here as much as I would like to, but my granddaughter's a huge fan, and so we're going to probably finish up the season down here quite a bit. But just to see these guys develop, to see them come together, and just see them grow from year to year, from spring training to now, you see the difference. I mean, you can see that they made progress. You see these coaches do a great job of working these kids out every day. That's all part of the process and everything. And because they're such great kids, you feel so much better about them because you've had a chance to know them personally.
And Spencer has told me he's enjoyed learning about the Negro Leagues and the history of baseball from you. His first game last year at AA was in a black Yankees jersey. And on that note, what do you think about this fresh look? Because the Black Yankees were a team that they basically had the hand-me-down uniforms from the Yankees. They didn't have their own original look. So the interlocking BY, the felt Black Yankees letter, what does this mean to you to see an original identity reimagined for them?
Well, it just feels good to have it on my body or whatever. Kids today like the style and like the Mac things or whatever, and that's great. I'm a little bit of a style master myself, so I love when you get fresh stuff out there. Just look at this beautiful, beautiful color. I love the felt numbers too, which is kind of cool, and the hat logo. I mean, come on. I mean, you can wear this anywhere, and the bottom line for me is that it's unique. Okay, when you say Black Yankees, then they know exactly what you're talking about. So, kids are all about style. They have their own sneaker situation going on now with the spikes and stuff like that. But to me, it's all about expressing yourself. It's all about being a part of your identity and expressing who you are. So I love when the players can kind of do that, because to me it just means that you're being an individual and you're enjoying yourself, So I love the merchandise. I love that we have different things happen where kids can feel good about themselves. They talk about feeling sexy. I think that's what it's all about for players. They want to feel sexy.
Well, this has been great. It's going to be a special night. Thank you so much for the time.
All right, Steve, my pleasure.